everyone. Today I wanted to share how I'm using my Americano Chic Sparrow B6 Slim Folio from the Teahouse collection. You'll notice that this does have a closure. So the notebook is a very simple design, which is kind of nice because it just highlights the leather itself, which in this case is really super pretty. And I don't know if you can see too much, but there's some little speckles on there which are really pretty. So I'll just go ahead and open this here and we'll go through it. So this first notebook, this is from a seller on Etsy. I think this was Paper Penguin Co. And it is the onion skin paper. And I had never really tried onion skin paper before putting it in here. So what I'm using it for now, I'll show you that and then I'll tell you my thoughts on the paper. So here I just had some scribbles at the beginning to kind of test some pens, but then here I have my currently inked fountain pens. So I have a reference for what I have inked up at the moment. And then this is a new inventorying for me. So once I change the ink, I'll just cross it out and then put the new ink that I have. And I have done all these in the actual inks, in the actual pens that they're in. So my thoughts on this paper. It's fairly good for a fountain pen. It has a coating on it, so the ink is not going to seep through the paper, which is great, which is kind of what you want for a fountain pen paper because you want it to sit up a little bit and dry on the surface of the paper so that, first off, some of your sheen or your sparkle or shimmer can come out on the page instead of seep in. So that's great. The only problem, and it's very thin, which could be good or bad depending on what you like. I'm fine with the thinness of it. My only issue is that in some pens and with some inks, so here I have some feathering, so that's a little bit of an issue I've had. However, this is with a Pilot Parallel, which gives off a lot of ink, so I don't know that that's entirely fair. With all the other fountain pen inks, it's been okay as far as feathering goes. Well, you do have some feathering with the noodlers. Yeah. So any of the ones that are going to lay down a really heavy amount of ink are probably going to feather on here. The other issue that I have is that sometimes I feel like I'm writing on wax paper, which is probably essentially what this is. I mean, it's just a lighter version of a wax paper, right? So, and what that essentially does is it sometimes it won't necessarily skip. It's hard to explain. So when I'm writing with the pen, it's almost like the ink is not flowing at a regular rate on this paper. So, you know, your mileage may vary. Those are my thoughts. I'm not quite sure whether I would use this again. Probably not for something like this. I'd probably use a Tomoe River insert in here. I just had this insert and wasn't using it and thought I could put it in here for this because it is a B6 Slim and I had this sitting around. I got it to mostly try the paper. And so that's what I'm doing. And then here I have a Naname Cafe Notes, and I'm only just starting this. This is sort of a morning pages stream of consciousness journal where I just get it all out, basically. I've been having a really hard time journaling lately. I don't know if this is true for any of you, but I'm kind of torn. Like, depending on when you're watching this, if you're watching this closer to when I post this video up, obviously we're going through all of these stay-at-home orders or, you know, transitioning to opening things up more. For me personally, it's been kind of a scary time. I have some conditions like asthma that could potentially make me at higher risk for getting coronavirus or certainly having complications if I did get it. But I am younger, so you know, maybe it would be fine. But we don't know. There's so much unknown, and that is really frustrating. And it's just a lot of turmoil right now going on in my brain. And it's been hard for me to write that, and that's for a few reasons. One, do I really want to remember this time in great detail? I mean, am I going to go back and look at these notebooks and go, the time of coronavirus? You know, probably not. However, on the other hand, I feel like things should be documented. And I know there's a lot of journalers who are documenting things now. And so I want to do that, but I don't want to dwell on things either. So I feel like if I start writing and pouring my heart out in here, it could go either way. I could either feel better to have gotten it all out, or I might feel like I'm just really focusing on it, and maybe I just want to avoid it, quite frankly. So anyway, that's a little segue into using this journal, but not using it a whole lot because of all that. Let's just say that. Okay, well, I'll show you the pen real quick, and then we'll go. So I just have a pen loop, an elastic pen loop in here that I got off of Amazon. It was just a super cheapie that I put onto the cover of this Naname Cafe Notes because it doesn't have a pen loop normally. And then this pen, I also got off of Amazon. You know, whether that's the best place to get a nicer fountain pen, you know, there could be debates over that. But this is a Sailor ProGear. It's the, I can't remember if the ProGear has just a regular ProGear, which is the smaller one, or if it's sort of like a small, there's some sort of name after it that indicates that it's small. But in any case, this is the smallest ProGear. It's in a special edition for, I think this might be, it's something related to the seasons, but I can't remember which season this is. I'll put the information about that below. But it writes pretty well. I just have the cartridge that came in there now. I'm not going to test this out because I'm actually going to do a separate video testing out and comparing my Sailor fountain pens. I don't have very many. I think I have maybe 4 Sailor fountain pens. Although if you include the cheaper one and the sort of the student grade fountain pen, I have a couple more. But I will go through those in a separate video. But I just wanted to show you how that fits in here. It is smaller. I'm fine with the size. Some people have found this fountain pen to be a little too small. I think it's a good size for my hands because I have fairly small hands. But some people have found it to be a little small. And I know that Goulet Pens, which I do try to support, is starting to offer Sailor pens. But they are a little pricey, and that's part of the reason why I got this on Amazon, because it was less expensive and I kind of wanted to try it. I think one of the potential downsides of ordering fountain pens off of Amazon is I suppose you could get a fake. Because you don't really know who you're buying from, and it could be a fake, you don't know. Or it could just be something that's not tested as well as if it were from a smaller company, and you might just get one that's a little funky compared to the normal one. But this one's been working fine. It seems like a great pen, actually, so I haven't had any issues. But again, I will do a separate video where I compare Sailor fountain pens. But for today, I think that's it. And the insides of that weren't too exciting, but I just thought I would show you how I'm using this really lovely Americano B6 Slim Folio. All right, well, that's it for today. So feel free to like and or subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.